The bar on Station 12 smelled like cheap alcohol and broken dreams. Hyunwoo sat with his crew, drinking something that burned his throat and made his head fuzzy. His friends were loud tonight. They laughed and shouted, celebrating another successful smuggling run. The money was good. The danger was past. Now it was time to relax. Hyunwoo was 28 years old and thought he knew everything about the galaxy. He had been flying through space for 5 years. He had visited 30 different worlds. He had met hundreds of alien species. Some were tall. Some were short. Some had scales. Some had fur. But Hyunwoo always felt superior. He was human. Humans were smart. Humans were tough. That was what he believed. His friend Tae-sung slapped the table hard. The glasses jumped. "Look at her," Tae-sung said. He pointed across the bar. "That Valkyrie woman. She has been watching you all night." Hyunwoo turned his head. He saw her immediately. She stood behind the bar counter, cleaning glasses with a cloth. Her skin was pale blue, smooth like water. Her body was soft and round. The Valkyrie people often looked this way. They had curves where humans had angles. Her face was gentle, with large dark eyes that seemed sad and knowing at the same time. "Her name is Nari," said Dong-hyun, another crew member. "She works here every night. Never talks much. Just serves drinks and stays quiet." Tae-sung grinned. His teeth were white against his tanned face. "I bet you would not marry her, Hyunwoo. You always talk big. You say you are not afraid of anything. But I bet you would not marry that alien woman." The other crew members laughed. They thought it was funny. Hyunwoo felt his pride rise up in his chest like hot fire. He did not like being challenged. He did not like being laughed at. "How much?" Hyunwoo asked. His voice was cold. Tae-sung stopped laughing. His eyes grew wide. "What?" "How much money are you betting?" Hyunwoo repeated. "If you want to make a real bet, put money on it." The table went quiet. The other crew members looked at each other. They had not expected this. Tae-sung cleared his throat. He was nervous now, but he could not back down. Not in front of everyone. 5,000 credits, Tae-sung said. "I bet 5,000 credits that you will not marry her and stay married for 6 months. 6 months. That was the minimum time for a legal marriage contract in this sector. After 6 months, people could end the marriage easily. No questions asked." "No problems," Hyunwoo stood up. His chair scraped against the metal floor. The bar was not busy tonight. Maybe 20 people sat at different tables. Most of them were human. A few were aliens from nearby worlds. Everyone minded their own business. He walked to the bar. His boots made heavy sounds. Nari looked up from her work. Her large eyes met his. Hyunwoo felt something strange in his stomach. Maybe it was the alcohol. Maybe it was nerves. He pushed the feeling away. "You are Nari," he said. It was not a question. She nodded slowly. Her voice was soft and musical. "I am. You are Hyunwoo. You come here often with your crew. You know my name." He felt surprised. "I know many things," she said simply. She put down the glass she was cleaning. Her hands were small and delicate. Her fingers had 3 joints instead of 2, like human fingers. "What do you want?" Hyunwoo felt stupid suddenly. How do you ask someone to marry you for a bet? He looked back at his table. His crew was watching. Tae-sung had his arms crossed. He looked confident. He thought Hyunwoo would fail. "I want to ask you something," Hyunwoo said. He spoke quickly before he could change his mind. "Will you marry me?" Nari did not react. Her face stayed calm. She did not smile. She did not look shocked. She just watched him with those dark, knowing eyes. "Why?" she asked. Hyunwoo felt his face get hot. He could lie. He could make up a romantic story. But something about her steady gaze made lying feel impossible. "My friends bet me money," he said. "They say I will not marry you and stay married for 6 months. I want to prove them wrong. A normal person would get angry. A normal person would throw a drink in his face. A normal person would tell him to leave and never come back. But Nari just tilted her head slightly. She looked past him at his crew. She looked at their laughing faces. She looked at the way they nudged each other and whispered. "They think I am weak," she said quietly. "They see my body and think I am soft. They think I am just a bar worker. Someone small and unimportant. Hyunwoo did not know what to say. Nari turned her eyes back to him. Something in her expression changed. It was very small. Just a tiny shift. But suddenly Hyun-woo felt like he was standing in front of something much bigger than himself. Like standing at the edge of a cliff in the dark. "I will marry you," Nari said. 6 months. "We will live on your ship. We will follow your work schedule. I will cook and clean and stay out of your way. After 6 months, the marriage ends. You get your money. I get something else." "What do you get?" Hyun-woo asked. Nari smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who knows a secret. "I get to see what kind of man you really are." The words felt heavy. Hyun-woo did not understand what she meant, but he nodded anyway. He was already thinking about the 5,000 credits. That was good money. 6 months would pass quickly. How hard could it be? "We need to sign the contract tomorrow," he said. "The office opens at dawn." "I will be there," Nari said. She picked up her cloth and started cleaning glasses again. Just like that, the conversation was over. Hyun-woo walked back to his table. His crew exploded with noise. They shouted and laughed. They could not believe it. Taesung looked sick. His face was pale. 5,000 credits was a lot of money to lose. "You actually did it," Dong-hyun said. He sounded impressed and horrified at the same time. "You crazy fool. You actually asked her?" And she said yes, Hyun-woo replied. He felt proud. He felt like he had won something important. 6 months. Easy money. But even as he said the words, he felt that strange feeling in his stomach again. He looked back at the bar. Nari was still working. She moved with grace and purpose. She did not look back at him. She did not seem worried or excited or anything. She was just calm, too calm. Hyun-woo drank more alcohol. He celebrated with his friends. He made plans. He would give Nari a small room on his ship. She could stay there. She could do whatever she wanted. He would barely notice her. 6 months would pass. He would collect his money. Life would go back to normal. It all seemed so simple. The next morning, Hyun-woo woke up with a terrible headache. The station's artificial lights were too bright. Everything hurt. He almost did not go to the contract office. He thought about running away. He thought about losing the bet. 5,000 credits was a lot of money, but his freedom was worth more. But pride is a powerful thing. Pride makes people do stupid things. Hyun-woo dragged himself to the contract office. He expected Nari to not show up. He thought she had changed her mind. She was already there. She wore simple clothes, a gray shirt and dark pants. Her blue skin looked clean and healthy in the morning light. She had a small bag with her. Just one bag. That was all she owned in the galaxy. "Good morning," she said softly. Hyun-woo grunted. They went inside. The contract officer was a bored human woman who had done this 1,000 times. She asked basic questions. She checked their identification cards. She made them sign digital documents. The whole process took 20 minutes. When it was done, the officer looked at them with tired eyes. "Congratulations," she said without any emotion. "You are now legally married for 6 months. Station 12 recognizes your union. Try not to kill each other." They walked out together, husband and wife. Hyun-woo felt the weight of what he had done. Nari walked beside him silently. Her small bag hung from her shoulder. "My ship is in Dock 7, Hyun-woo said. His voice was rough. "We leave in 2 hours." "I will be ready," Nari said. As they walked through the crowded station corridors, people stared. A human man and a Velkari woman. It was not common. It was not illegal, but it was not common. Hyun-woo felt their eyes on him. He felt judged, but when he looked at Nari, she did not seem to care. She walked with her head up. Her dark eyes looked straight ahead. She moved like someone who had walked through much worse than staring strangers. Hyun-woo realized he knew nothing about this woman, nothing at all. He had married a complete stranger for money. The thought made him feel cold inside. What had he done? The ship called Morningstar was not large. It had 5 crew members, including Hyun-woo. There was a small cargo hold, a tiny kitchen, a bathroom that barely worked, and 4 sleeping rooms. Each room was the size of a closet. Hyun-woo gave Nari the room next to his. It had a narrow bed and a small storage box. Nothing more. "This is yours," he said, opening the door. He felt embarrassed. The room was ugly and cold. The walls were gray metal. The air smelled like oil and old sweat. Nari looked inside. She did not complain. She just nodded and put her bag on the bed. "Thank you," she said quietly. Hyun-woo left her alone. He went to the control room. His crew was already there. Tae-sung sat in the pilot chair. Dong-hyun checked the navigation computer. Mi-sun, their engineer, worked on some wiring under a panel. Jaemin, the youngest member, stared at Hyunwoo with wide eyes. "So you really brought her," Jaemin said. He was only 19 years old. Everything amazed him. 6 months, Hyunwoo said firmly. "Then I collect my money. Everyone just act normal. Treat her like she is not here." Mi-sun crawled out from under the panel. She was a short woman with strong arms and grease on her face. "You married someone to win a bet," she said. Her voice was flat. "That is a terrible thing to do." "Mind your business," Hyunwoo snapped. Mi-sun shrugged. She did not argue, but her eyes said everything. She thought Hyunwoo was stupid. Maybe he was. They left the station an hour later. The Morning Star shook as it powered up. The engines were old and made loud noises. But the ship flew. That was all that mattered. Their next job was simple. Pick up cargo from a mining colony on Tellus 4. Deliver it to a trade station near the border. Easy work. Legal work for once. The first week was strange. Nari stayed in her room most of the time. She came out for meals. She sat in the kitchen and ate quietly. She never complained about the food, even though it was terrible. Dried protein bars and synthetic vegetables. Sometimes there was real meat, but not often. The crew ignored her like Hyunwoo had asked. But Hyunwoo noticed things. Small things. Nari always cleaned up after herself. She washed her dishes. She kept her room neat. When she walked through the ship, she moved carefully. She never got in anyone's way. She was like a ghost. One night, Hyunwoo could not sleep. He got up and went to the kitchen. He wanted water. When he got there, he found Nari sitting at the small table. She was reading something on a data pad. The blue light from the screen made her face glow. "Sorry," Hyunwoo said. "I did not know you were here." "It is all right," Nari said. She did not look up. "I do not sleep much." Hyunwoo got his water. He should have left. He should have gone back to his room. But something made him sit down across from her. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was guilt. "What are you reading?" he asked. "Engine repair manuals," Nari said simply. "Your ship has problems. The cooling system is failing. You probably have 2 weeks before it breaks completely." Hyunwoo froze. "How do you know that?" "I can hear it," Nari said. She finally looked up. Her dark eyes were calm. The vibration in the walls. The way the air moves. "Your engineer is good, but she has not noticed yet." "You can hear the engine." Hyunwoo felt confused. "From inside the ship?" "I have good hearing," Nari said. She went back to reading. Hyunwoo sat there for a moment. He felt strange. This quiet woman who worked in a bar knew about ship engines. How? He wanted to ask, but pride stopped him. Instead, he drank his water and went back to bed. The next day, Mi-sun came running into the control room. Her face was pale with panic. "The cooling system," she said, breathing hard. "It is going to fail. We need to land somewhere and fix it soon." Hyunwoo remembered what Nari had said. He felt cold. "How soon?" 2 weeks. Maybe less. They landed on a small planet called Vera. It had a repair station and a market. Mi-sun spent 2 days working on the cooling system. Hyunwoo spent money they did not have on parts. Everyone was stressed and angry. On the 3rd day, Nari appeared in the engine room. Mi-sun was lying under the main cooling unit, cursing and covered in oil. Nari stood in the doorway watching. "Can I help?" Nari asked softly. Mi-sun slid out from under the unit. She looked exhausted. "Do you know engines?" "A little," Nari said. Mi-sun laughed. It was not a happy laugh. "Sure, why not? Hand me that wrench." Nari picked up the wrench, but she did not hand it to Mi-sun. Instead, she looked at the cooling unit. She tilted her head. Then she pointed to a different section. "The problem is not there," she said. "It is here. The pressure valve is cracked. You are fixing the symptom, not the cause." Mi-sun stared at her. "What?" Nari knelt down. Her soft body moved easily. She pointed to a small valve hidden behind other parts. "See, there is a crack. Very small. It leaks coolant slowly. The system tries to compensate. That is why it is failing." Mi-sun looked. She pulled out a flashlight. She shined it on the valve. Her mouth fell open. "You are right," she whispered. "How did you see that?" "I looked," Nari said simply. It took them 1 more day to fix the real problem. Nari helped. She handed tools to Mi-sun. She held parts steady. She answered questions about pressure systems and coolant flow. Mi-sun stopped treating her like she was invisible. Mi-sun started asking her opinion. That night, Mi-sun came to Hyunwoo. "Where did you find her?" Mi-sun asked. "That woman knows more about engines than I do. And I have been doing this for 10 years. Hyunwoo did not have an answer. He felt uneasy. He went to find Nari. She was in her room reading again. He knocked on the open door. She looked up. "Where did you learn about engines?" he asked. He tried to sound casual. "I had a previous career," Nari said. She turned back to her reading. "Before the bar." "What career? Does it matter?" Nari asked. Her voice was still soft, but something in it made Hyunwoo stop asking questions. The ship flew again. They picked up their cargo. They continued their journey. But things were different now. The crew talked to Nari. They asked her questions. She answered in her quiet way. She knew about navigation. She knew about food storage. She knew about communication systems. She seemed to know about everything. One day they flew through an asteroid field. It was dangerous. Tae-sung was piloting. He was good, but the asteroids were thick. Rocks the size of buildings floated everywhere. The ship had to move carefully. One wrong move and they would crash. Nari stood behind Tae-sung watching. She did not say anything for a long time. Then quietly she said, "Left, 20 degrees. Tae-sung ignored her. He went right. An asteroid appeared suddenly. Alarm screamed. Tae-sung cursed and pulled hard on the controls. The ship barely missed the rock. Everyone grabbed onto something. Hearts pounded. "Left," Nari said again. Her voice was calm. 20 degrees. Then wait 3 seconds. Then right 30 degrees. "Who do you think you are?" Tae-sung snapped. He was scared and angry. "Someone who does not want to die," Nari said simply. "Left now." Something in her voice made Tae-sung listen. He turned left. 20 degrees. He counted 3 seconds. Then he turned right. 30 degrees. The ship moved through a narrow gap between asteroids. It was perfect. Like the asteroids were not even there. "Up," Nari said. 10 degrees. Tae-sung obeyed. Up 10 degrees. Another perfect path. For the next 20 minutes, Nari called out directions. Her voice never changed. She was never wrong. The ship moved through the asteroid field like water flowing through rocks. Smooth, easy, impossible. When they finally cleared the field, everyone was quiet. Tae-sung's hands shook on the controls. He turned around and looked at Nari. "How?" he asked, his voice cracked. "How did you do that?" "I calculated the trajectories," Nari said. "The asteroids follow patterns. You just have to see them." "That is impossible," Dong-hyun said. He had been watching from the navigation station. There were hundreds of asteroids, moving in different directions. No one can calculate that. Not even computers can do it that fast. Nari looked at him. For the first time since she came on the ship, she smiled. It was a small smile, sad and knowing. "I am good at math," she said. That night, the crew sat together in the kitchen. Nari was in her room. They spoke in whispers. "She is not normal," Jaemin said. He looked scared. "No one can do what she did today. No one." "She worked in a bar," Mi-sun said slowly. "But she knows engines better than me. She can calculate impossible math in her head. She speaks." Mi-sun stopped. "How many languages does she speak?" "I heard her talking to a trader yesterday," Dong-hyun said. She switched between 4 different languages. Like it was nothing. Everyone looked at Hyunwoo. He felt their eyes on him. He felt the weight of their questions. Who was this woman? What was she? Why did she agree to marry him? Hyunwoo went to her room. He knocked harder this time. Nari opened the door. She looked tired. Her dark eyes had shadows under them. "Who are you?" Hyunwoo asked. "Really? Who are you?" Nari looked at him for a long moment. Then she stepped aside. "Come in," she said. Hyunwoo entered her tiny room. Nari closed the door behind him. She sat on her bed. Hyunwoo stood. There was nowhere else to sit. "I told you," Nari said quietly. "I had a previous career." "What career?" Hyunwoo demanded. "What were you before?" Nari folded her hands in her lap. She looked down at them. "I was a soldier," she said simply. "A very good soldier." The words hung in the air. Hyunwoo felt like the floor was falling away under his feet. A soldier. This soft, quiet woman. A soldier. What kind of soldier? He asked. His voice was barely a whisper. Nari looked up at him. Her eyes were not 3 months past. The ship traveled through 5 different systems. They delivered cargo. They made money. Life continued. But everything had changed. The crew no longer treated Nari like she was invisible. They asked her questions. They listened to her advice. She became part of the team without anyone deciding it should happen. Hyunwoo watched her carefully now. He saw things he had missed before. The way she moved was too precise, too controlled. When she picked up objects, her hands were always in the exact right position. When she walked, she never made unnecessary sounds. She was always aware of everything around her. Her eyes saw everything. One night, Hyunwoo asked her about her past again. They were alone in the kitchen. She was making tea from herbs she had bought at a station market. The smell was strange but pleasant. "You said you were a soldier," Hyunwoo said. "What war?" Nari poured hot water into 2 cups. She handed one to Hyunwoo. "Many wars," she said. "My people, the Velkari, we are old. We have been traveling through space for thousands of years. We have seen empires rise and fall. We have fought in conflicts you have never heard of. Why did you stop?" Hyunwoo asked. "Because I got tired," Nari said simply. She sipped her tea. 30 years of fighting. 30 years of watching friends die. 30 years of killing. Everyone has a limit. I reached mine. 30 years. Hyunwoo looked at her. She seemed young. Maybe 30 years old. But if she had been a soldier for 30 years, how old was she really? He did not ask. Some questions were better left alone. "Do you regret it?" he asked instead, stopping. Nari looked at him. "No, I regret starting. But I had no choice. My people bred me for war. They designed my body. They trained my mind. I was born to fight. Choice was something other people had." Hyunwoo felt something painful in his chest. Maybe it was guilt. Maybe it was pity. He had judged this woman for her soft body. He had mocked her in his mind. He had married her for money. And all along she was a weapon in the shape of a person. "I am sorry," he said quietly. Nari looked surprised. "For what?" "For the bet. For marrying you like you were a joke. For being an idiot." Nari smiled. It was a real smile this time. Small but genuine. "You are learning," she said. "That is good. The next job should have been easy. Pick up medical supplies from a research station. Deliver them to a colony world. Simple, legal, safe. But space is never safe. Not really. They were 2 days from the research station when the pirates came. It happened fast. One moment, the Morning Star was flying through empty space. The next moment, 3 ships appeared on the sensors. They came out of nowhere. Fast attack ships. Small and deadly. "Pirates!" Taesung shouted from the pilot chair. "They are hailing us. They want our cargo." "We do not have cargo yet," Donghyun said. He was trying to calculate an escape route. "They do not care," Taesung said. His voice was tight with fear. "They will take the ship. They will take us. We have to run. We cannot outrun them," Misun said. She was checking the weapon systems. The Morning Star had 2 small guns. They were meant for asteroids, not combat. "We are not a warship." Hyunwoo felt panic rising in his throat. He had been in dangerous situations before. He had run from authorities. He had smuggled illegal goods. But he had never faced pirates. Pirates did not just take cargo. They took people. They sold them. "Or worse, what do we do?" Jaemin asked. He looked like he might cry. Nari stood up from her seat in the corner. Everyone looked at her. She had been quiet, listening. Now she moved to the center of the control room. Her face was calm. Her eyes were focused. "How many pirates?" she asked. 3 ships, Donghyun said, checking his screens. "Maybe 20 people total. They are moving to surround us." "Let them," Nari said. "What?" Hyunwoo stared at her. "Are you crazy?" "Let them board the ship," Nari said. Her voice was steady, strong. This was not the quiet bar worker anymore. This was someone else. Taesung stopped the engines. "Send them a message. Tell them we surrender." "No," Hyunwoo shouted. "We cannot just give up." Nari turned to him. Her eyes were hard. "Trust me," she said, "or everyone dies. Your choice. Decide now." Hyunwoo looked into those dark eyes. He saw something there that made his blood run cold. Certainty. Absolute certainty. This was not a woman guessing. This was a soldier stating facts. "Do it," Hyunwoo said to Taesung. Taesung's hands shook, but he stopped the engines. He sent the message. The pirate ships moved closer. They surrounded the Morning Star like sharks around prey. A few minutes later, there was a heavy thud against the hull. They were attaching a boarding tube. "Everyone except Nari go to the cargo hold," Nari said. She walked to a storage locker. She opened it. Inside were emergency supplies, bandages, water, tools. She pulled out a length of cable. "Lock the door. Do not come out until I tell you." "What are you going to do?" Misun asked. "My job," Nari said simply. The crew hesitated. Then Hyunwoo nodded. They moved quickly to the cargo hold. As they left, Hyunwoo looked back. Nari stood in the hallway near the airlock. She held the cable in her hands. She looked small, soft, harmless. The cargo hold door closed. Hyunwoo pressed his ear against it. He heard the airlock open. He heard voices. Rough male voices, laughing, confident. They thought this would be easy. Then he heard sounds. Strange sounds, thuds. A scream cut short. Something heavy hitting the floor. More thuds. Faster now. Someone yelled. Then silence. The silence lasted 5 seconds. Then the sounds started again. This time it was chaos. People screaming, running, more thuds. The sound of metal bending. A gunshot, just one. Then more silence. The crew stood frozen in the cargo hold. No one breathed. No one moved. The sounds were wrong. They were the sounds of violence. Quick, efficient violence. Finally, there was a knock on the cargo hold door. 3 light taps. "You can come out now," Nari's voice said. She sounded calm, like nothing had happened. Hyunwoo opened the door slowly. He stepped into the hallway. He stopped. His brain could not process what he saw. There were 5 pirates in the hallway. All of them were unconscious. Or dead. Hyunwoo could not tell. They lay on the floor in strange positions. Their weapons were scattered. One man's arm was bent at an angle that arms do not bend. Another had his face pressed against the wall, not moving. Nari stood at the end of the hallway. She held a gun now, one of the pirates' guns. There was a small cut on her forehead. Blue blood ran down her face, but she was standing. She was fine. "What?" Hyunwoo could not form words. "There are 15 more on their ships," Nari said, "but they will not be a problem. I disabled their communications. I damaged their engines. They will need hours to repair. By then we will be gone." "How?" Misun whispered. She stared at the bodies on the floor. "How did you—" Nari walked past them. She moved to the airlock. She pressed buttons. The boarding tube detached. The airlock sealed. She turned back to face the crew. Her soft, round body was perfectly still. Her large eyes were cold and distant. "I told you," she said quietly. "I was a soldier. A very good soldier. But it was more than that." Hyunwoo saw it now. This was not just training. This was not just experience. Nari had moved faster than should be possible. She had taken down 5 armed men with a cable. A cable. She had not looked scared. She had not looked angry. She had just worked. Like it was a normal task. "What are you?" Jaemin asked. His voice shook. Nari looked at him. Something like sadness crossed her face. "I am Velkari," she said. "We are not like you. We do not look dangerous. Our bodies are soft. We look weak. That is by design. It is camouflage. Beneath this," she touched her round stomach, is something different. My muscles are dense. 4 times stronger than human muscles. My bones are reinforced with metals your doctors have never seen. My reflexes are enhanced. My senses are sharp. I was designed to be a weapon that does not look like a weapon." "A shock trooper," Dong-hyun said suddenly. He looked like he might faint. "You are a Velkari shock trooper. Oh God, I read about you. I thought it was just stories. Horror stories to scare people." "Not stories," Nari said. She walked past them toward the kitchen. "Taesung, get us moving. We need to be far away before those pirates fix their ships." She paused at the kitchen doorway. "And someone should check those men in the hallway. Make sure they are just unconscious, not dead." I tried to be gentle. Gentle. The word echoed in Hyunwoo's mind. This was gentle. 5 men destroyed in seconds. This was her being gentle. The crew worked like machines. Taesung got the ship moving. Dong-hyun plotted a jump to hyperspace. Misun checked the systems for damage. Jaemin checked the pirates. They were all alive, barely, but alive. Hyunwoo found Nari in the kitchen. She was making tea again, like nothing had happened. Her hands did not shake. Her face was calm. Only the cut on her forehead showed that anything had occurred. You could have told us, Hyunwoo said. Before, you could have said what you were. Would you have believed me? Nari asked. She poured hot water into her cup. Would you have married me if you knew I could kill you with my bare hands? Hyunwoo did not answer. He knew the truth. No, he would have run away. He would have been terrified. You married me because you thought I was weak, Nari continued. Her voice was soft again, sad. You made a bet based on my appearance. You assumed my body meant I was less than you. Everyone does. That is why the Valkyrie designed us this way. People aren't gentle anymore. They were hard. Nari looked up from her data pad. Her expression did not change. Why? She asked. Because it is wrong, Hyunwoo said. He stood in her doorway, feeling small and stupid. This whole thing, the bet, treating you like a prize. It is wrong. I was wrong. You will lose 5,000 credits, Nari pointed out. I do not care. Hyunwoo meant it. The money seemed meaningless now. Some things are more important than money. Nari tilted her head. She studied him like he was a puzzle she was trying to solve. You are changing, she said softly. Good, sit down. Hyunwoo sat on the floor. There was nowhere else to sit. The room was tiny. Nari's presence filled it. Not because she was large, but because now he knew what she was. The air felt heavier around her. I need to tell you something, Nari said. She put down her data pad. The truth. The real truth. About why I married you. Hyunwoo felt his stomach tighten. All right. I did not marry you by chance, Nari began. Her voice was quiet but clear. I chose you specifically. I have been watching you for 3 months before you came to that bar. What? Hyunwoo felt cold. Why? Because I had a mission, Nari said. My people, the Valkyrie, we are leaving this part of space. We are withdrawing our protection. We have been here for 200 years, keeping peace, stopping wars, protecting weaker species. But we are tired. We are going home far away, to rest. I do not understand, Hyunwoo said. What does that have to do with me? There is something coming, Nari continued. Her dark eyes looked past him, seeing something far away. A threat. A species called the Krell. They are raiders, destroyers. They move through space like locusts, taking everything, killing everyone. They are coming to this sector. They will arrive in 8 months, 8 months. Hyunwoo felt his heart start to pound. Why are you telling me this? Because when the Valkyrie leave, the Krell will find the human colonies defenseless, Nari said. 3 billion humans live in this sector. 3 billion people who will die unless someone helps them, unless someone teaches them to fight back. The human government, Hyunwoo said quickly. The military. They can fight. Nari shook her head. Your military is scattered, weak, corrupt. They do not even know the Krell exist. By the time they realize the danger, millions will already be dead. Then tell them. Hyunwoo stood up. He felt panic rising. Warn them. Your people can help. We tried, Nari said. Her voice was heavy with sadness. 10 years ago, we sent messages to your governments. We offered help. We offered training. We offered weapons. Do you know what they said? Hyunwoo shook his head. They said no. They said the Valkyrie were lying. They said we wanted to control humans. They said we were the real threat. Nari's hands clenched into fists. We showed them evidence. We showed them what the Krell do. We showed them recordings of destroyed worlds. They did not care. Your leaders are proud and stupid. They think humans can handle anything. They think they are invincible. So you gave up? Hyunwoo felt anger mixing with his fear. You are just going to let us die? Not all of us, Nari said quietly. Some Valkyrie wanted to stay. Some of us wanted to keep trying. But the council, our leaders, they made a decision. They said humans had to prove they were worth saving. They said humans had to show they were more than just violent, greedy animals. That is not fair, Hyunwoo said. His voice broke. You cannot judge all humans by our worst examples. That is exactly what I said, Nari replied. She looked at him directly now. So the council gave me a mission. One last chance. I would choose one human at random. Any human. I would live with them for 6 months. I would observe them. I would see what kind of person they really are. At the end of 6 months, I would make a report. If I thought humanity was worth saving, the Valkyrie would stay. If I thought humanity was cruel and hopeless, we would leave. 3 billion lives depending on one person's character. The words hit Hyunwoo like a physical force. He sat back down on the floor. His legs would not hold him. Me? He whispered. You chose me? I chose you, Nari confirmed. I watched many humans. I saw how they lived, how they treated others, how they made decisions. You were not the worst, but you were not the best either. You were average, normal, that made you perfect. If an average human could be good, could learn, could grow, then maybe all humans had that potential. But I failed, Hyunwoo said. He felt tears burning his eyes. I married you for money. I treated you like garbage. I proved humans are cruel. You did, Nari agreed. At first. But then something happened. You started to change. You started asking questions. You started feeling guilty. You started seeing me as a person instead of a prize. That change, that growth, that is important. Is it enough? Hyunwoo asked. His voice was desperate. Is it enough to save my people? Nari was quiet for a long moment. The ship hummed around them. Somewhere far away the Krell were coming, like a storm, like death in the darkness. I do not know, Nari said finally. The 6 months are not over. I have 3 more months to decide. 3 more months to see if your change is real or just temporary. 3 more months to determine the fate of billions of people. Hyunwoo put his head in his hands. The weight of it was too much. 3 billion lives. Because of him. Because of his stupid bet. Because of his pride and cruelty. Why did you tell me? He asked. Why not just keep watching without me knowing? Because the test is different now, Nari said. Before I was testing your natural behavior. How you act when you think no one is judging you. But now I need to test something else. Your intentional behavior. What you do when you know the stakes. Can you be good when it is hard? Can you be kind when it does not benefit you? Can you grow even when it hurts? That is not fair, Hyunwoo said again. Life is not fair, Nari replied. War is not fair. Death is not fair. The Krell will not be fair when they come. Your government was not fair when they refused our help. I am not fair when I judge your entire species by your actions, but this is the test. This is what we have. Hyunwoo looked up at her, this small, soft woman who held the fate of worlds in her hands. What do I have to do? He asked. To prove humans are worth saving? I cannot tell you that, Nari said. If I tell you what to do, it is not real. You have to figure it out yourself. You have to choose to be better because you want to be better, not because you want to win a test. That is impossible, Hyunwoo said. Maybe, Nari agreed, but impossible things happen sometimes. You are talking to one right now. I was designed to kill, to destroy, to be a weapon, but I chose to be something else. I chose to care. I chose to hope. I chose to believe that even violent, broken things can become gentle. If I can change, maybe you can too. Hyunwoo stood up slowly. His mind was racing. 3 months. 3 months to prove humanity deserved to live. How do you prove something like that? How do you show that an entire species is good when you are just one person? I need to think, he said. Think carefully, Nari said. But do not take too long. The Krell do not wait. Time moves forward whether we are ready or not. Hyunwoo left her room. He walked through the ship in a daze. The crew was asleep. Everything was quiet. But inside his head it was chaos. Questions spinning. Fears screaming. The weight of 3 billion lives pressing down on his shoulders. He went to the control room. He sat in the pilot chair. Through the window he could see stars. Millions of stars. Each one a sun. Each one surrounded by planets. Maybe those planets had people on them. Maybe those people were like humans. Maybe they were facing their own impossible tests. Hyunwoo thought about his life. 28 years of being selfish. Of taking shortcuts. Of caring only about himself and his crew. He had never thought about the bigger picture. He had never thought about consequences. He had never thought about being responsible for anything except his next paycheck. Now he was responsible for everything. The next morning, Hyunwoo gathered his crew. He told them everything. He told them about Nari, about her mission, about the Krell, about the test. They sat in stunned silence. 3 billion people, Mi-sun whispered. She looked pale. Because of us? Because of me, Hyunwoo corrected. This is my fault. My responsibility. What are we going to do? Jaemin asked. He looked young and scared. I do not know yet, Hyunwoo admitted, but I need your help. All of you. We need to figure out how to prove humanity is worth saving. We need to show Nari that we can be better. This is insane, Taesung said. He looked angry. One alien gets to decide if we all live or die? That is wrong. That is not justice. You are right, Hyunwoo said. It is not fair. But it is what we have. And getting angry will not change anything. We need to work with what we have. Maybe we should just be ourselves, Donghyun suggested. Maybe trying too hard will make it worse. Maybe, Hyunwoo said. But I cannot just do nothing. I have to try. The crew talked for hours. They argued. They suggested ideas. Some were good. Some were stupid. But they were trying. They were thinking about someone other than themselves. That had to count for something. Days passed. Hyunwoo watched himself carefully. He tried to be better. He tried to be kinder. When Jaemin made a mistake, Hyunwoo did not yell at him. He helped him fix it. When Mi-sun needed tools, Hyunwoo bought them without complaining about the cost. When Taesung was tired, Hyunwoo took his shift, but it felt fake. It felt like acting. Hyunwoo could feel himself performing goodness instead of being good. At night, he lay awake wondering if Nari could tell, wondering the crew of the Morning Star spent 2 weeks at Haven Colony. Mi-sun repaired their mining equipment. Taesung taught the colony pilots how to navigate the asteroid fields more safely. Donghyun helped them reorganize their supply systems. Jaemin played with the children and made them laugh for the first time in months. Hyunwoo worked the hardest. He lifted heavy boxes. He fixed broken generators. He talked to the colony leaders and helped them plan for the future. His hands got cut and bruised. His back hurt. He was exhausted every night, but something inside him felt different, better, cleaner. Nari helped too. She moved through the colony like a gentle ghost. She fixed things that seemed impossible to fix. She knew how to purify water. She knew how to grow food in harsh conditions. She knew how to make medicine from local plants. The colonists started calling her the miracle worker. One night, a young woman named Hye Jin came to thank Hyunwoo. She held a small child in her arms. The child was healthy now, but Hye-jin said he had been sick for months. Nari had given him medicine. Nari had saved his life. Thank you, Hye-jin said. Tears ran down her face. Thank you for bringing her here. Thank you for staying. You did not have to. But you did. That means everything. After she left, Hyunwoo sat alone outside the colony buildings. The planet had 2 moons. They made strange shadows on the ground. He felt tired but peaceful. For the first time in weeks, the weight on his shoulders felt a little lighter. Nari came and sat beside him. She did not say anything at first. They just watched the moons together. You are trying very hard, Nari finally said. Is it working? Hyunwoo asked. He was afraid of the answer. I do not know yet, Nari said honestly. You are doing good things, but I need to know why. Are you doing them because you want to save humanity? Or are you doing them because you actually care about these people? Does it matter? Hyunwoo asked. Good is good, right? The reason does not change the result. The reason is everything, Nari said. She turned to look at him. Her dark eyes reflected the moonlight. If you only do good things to pass a test, what happens when the test is over? If you only help people because you are afraid of consequences, what happens when there are no consequences? True goodness comes from inside. It comes from caring even when no one is watching, even when it does not benefit you. I am not that good, Hyunwoo said quietly. I have never been that good. No one is born good, Nari said. Goodness is a choice you make every day, sometimes every hour, sometimes every minute. It is hard, it is exhausting, but it is the only thing that makes life worth living. You sound like you're speaking from experience, Hyunwoo said. Nari smiled sadly. I have killed 372 people, she said. The number fell between them like a stone. I remember all of their faces. Some deserved to die. Most did not. They were just soldiers following orders. I carry all of them inside me. Their weight never goes away, so now I try to save lives instead of taking them. I try to build instead of destroy. Not because it erases what I did. Nothing can erase it. But because I have to try. I have to believe change is possible, even for someone like me. Hyunwoo felt tears in his eyes. You are better than me, he whispered. No, Nari said firmly. I am just older. I have had more time to learn. You are still young. You still have time to become who you want to be. When they left Haven Colony, the people came to say goodbye. They gave the crew gifts. Simple things. Handmade items. food they could barely spare. Heejin gave Hyunwoo a small carved stone. "For luck," she said. "You gave us hope. We will never forget." On the ship, Hyunwoo put the stone in his pocket. He carried it with him everywhere after that. A reminder. A promise. 2 months passed. The 6-month deadline grew closer. Hyunwoo changed in ways he did not fully understand. He stopped thinking about the test. He stopped performing goodness. Instead, he just tried to be present, to pay attention, to care about the people around him. He started learning Nari's language. It was hard. The sounds were strange, but he practiced every day. Nari helped him. She was a patient teacher. Sometimes they sat in the kitchen for hours just talking, him struggling with words, her gently correcting him. One day, Hyunwoo realized he was enjoying it. Not because it would help him pass the test, but because learning about Nari's culture, her people, her history, it made him feel closer to her. It made the galaxy feel bigger and more beautiful and more complicated. He asked her about her family. She told him her parents had died in a war before she was born. She had been raised in a training facility. She had never known childhood. "Just duty and discipline and preparation for violence. I am sorry," Hyunwoo said. "That is not fair. Children should play. They should laugh. They should be happy." "Yes," Nari agreed. "They should. But the galaxy does not care about should. It only cares about what is." "Then we change what is," Hyunwoo said. "We make it better." Nari looked at him with something like pride in her eyes. "Yes," she said softly. "We try." With 3 weeks left until the deadline, everything changed. An emergency transmission reached the Morning Star. It came from human government channels. Official and urgent. The message was simple and terrible. "Warning. Unidentified hostile forces detected at sector border. Multiple colonies under attack. All ships evacuate immediately." The Krell had arrived early, 5 months early. The crew gathered in the control room. Everyone looked scared. Dong-hyun pulled up news reports. They were horrifying. 3 colonies already destroyed. Thousands dead. The human military was responding, but they were too slow. Too unprepared. "Just like Nari had predicted, we need to run," Taesung said. His voice shook. "We need to get as far away as possible." "No," Hyunwoo said. The word came out strong and certain. "We need to help." "Help?" Misun stared at him. "We are a cargo ship. We have 2 small guns. What can we possibly do against an invasion force?" Hyunwoo looked at Nari. She sat quietly in the corner, watching, always watching. "Nari," he said. "Your people. Can they help? Will they help?" "I do not know," Nari said honestly. The council decided to leave. But some Velkari disagreed with that decision. "If I call them, some might come. But I need a reason. I need to prove to them that humans are worth the sacrifice." "What do we do?" Hyunwoo asked. "Tell me what to do." "I cannot tell you," Nari said. "You have to choose. From your heart. Not from fear. Not from strategy. From who you really are." Hyunwoo closed his eyes. He thought about Haven Colony. About Heejin and her child. About all the families on all the colonies that were about to be destroyed. About 3 billion people who had no idea death was coming. He opened his eyes. He knew what he had to do. "We are going to the nearest colony under attack," Hyunwoo said. "We are going to help evacuate as many people as possible. We probably cannot save everyone. We probably cannot even save that many, but we are going to try. Because it is right. Because those are people. Because if we do nothing, I will never forgive myself." The crew was silent. Then one by one they nodded. Misun first, then Jaemin, then Dong-hyun. Even Taesung, though he looked terrified. "This is insane," Taesung said. "We are going to die." "Maybe," Hyunwoo agreed. "But we are going to die trying to save people. That is better than dying while running away." Nari stood up. She walked to the center of the room. For the first time since Hyunwoo had known her, she looked emotional. Her dark eyes were wet. "You have made your choice," she said. Her voice was thick with feeling. "Now I will make mine." She pulled out a communication device. It was different from anything Hyunwoo had seen before. Velkari technology. She spoke into it in her own language. Fast and urgent. Hyunwoo could not understand all the words, but he understood some. "Help. Humans. Worth saving. Please come." She finished speaking. She looked at Hyunwoo. "I called my people," she said. I told them you made a choice to help others even when it meant risking your own life. I told them humans can change. I told them humans can be brave and selfless and good. I told them to come. Some will, not all, but some. Will it be enough? Hyunwoo asked. I do not know, Nari said. But it is a chance. And chances are precious. The morning star flew toward the colony called New Seoul. It was under attack. Krell ships surrounded it like vultures. The colony was sending desperate transmissions, crying for help, begging for rescue. When they arrived, they found chaos. Krell fighters were everywhere. Fast and deadly, the colony's defense systems were failing. Ships were trying to evacuate people. But there were too few ships and too many people. What do we do? Taesung asked. He was piloting through a storm of weapons fire. Explosions lit up the darkness around them. Get to the surface, Hyunwoo said. Load as many people as we can. Then get them to safety. It was impossible. It was stupid. The cargo hold could fit maybe 50 people. 50 people out of thousands. But they tried anyway. They landed. People ran toward the ship, screaming and crying. Families with children. Old people who could barely walk. Everyone desperate to escape. The crew worked like machines. They helped people onto the ship. They organized them. They made room where there was no room. Nari moved among the refugees, calm and gentle, helping the injured, comforting the scared children. They managed to load 70 people. More than the ship could safely carry, but they crammed